All right, so now let's talk about this application flow. And if I just have to explain you this application flow, and you can also, understand from the solution flow as well. So basically, whenever any client application, or let's say any UI is coming into play to hit your, component, right? So in that case, the very first thing where it is going to land here is it's the API gateway. And in that API gateway, it's, obviously trying to resolve based on any of these upstream path template to these downstream microservices, which is going to resolve to that microservices which is sitting over here. Let's say in this particular case it's going to land up into the catalog service and trying to resolve that via controllers itself, like how this is going to go into play, right? So let's say get all products is getting into play here, right? So this is going to come into that mediator pattern, and where in your handler it's going to resolve that get all products handler get all, and that is what it is going to like in this particular case, let's say get all products handler is going to be resolved. So this is how this overall flow in a nutshell is going to be. But in the matter of time, like, it has also become important because this is just that landing page of the things. But eventually when you talk to different microservices wherein you are adding item to the basket, wherein basket microservices comes into play, and that is where it's going to add to the message broker here as well. And that is where the things start getting little complex, and that is where you need to know like how that flow of data is flowing. So in order to explain you, I would rather switch to my switch to my flow here, right? So what you need to do here is like you can simply come to my blog rahulsai19.medium.com, and here you will see one of my blog, which is at the moment is in draft version, but at the moment when you are seeing this live, right, so this blog would have been published. So you just need to come here and see that announcing our new intensive course on .NET Core microservices with SAGA, Outbox, RabbitMQ, and many more. And that is where you will get to see all the details about this, like whether it's architectural overview of that, which we have briefly discussed already, right? And then what are all microservices which you are going to build from the scratch, and then how the application flow is going to be. So this is in a nutshell, this is the application flow which I wanted to show you guys. And that is where it's entirely like from the client side integration, how it's going to flow bit by bit. It is showing the same thing here, right? So right from the client, it's going via API gateway, and then it's resolving to catalog service, where you are seeing all that list of product listing there. And once you click on any of the details of that and you add to the basket, and then check out via checkout DTO itself, so it's going to put into that RabbitMQ itself, which is like, if I have to show you, like, so basket API is basically putting this message payload via RabbitMQ, and in the meantime basket is also checking for any kind of discount which is internally is there, right? So this is gRPC service, by the way, this discount API which is talking internally with basket API and applying discount during the time of checkout itself, right? And that is the finalized number is getting put over into this message broker, which is in this case is RabbitMQ. Now talking next here is what is happening is like, now that when it comes to ordering API, so therein SAGA transactions comes into play, like that SAGA design pattern in conjunction with Outbox pattern, just to make sure that reliability of the message, like you are not going to miss message, and this is going to maintain the sanctity of the message, like it should be avoiding any kind of duplication. So these things have been taken care into that, and that's why it's maintained into the same transactions where save order is happening. And then once that is done, so it's going to save into orders table plus the Outbox table, and then there will be a background service which will come into play to check for any pending transactions. And in our case, if you just look at this pending transactions, is like, if I just have to show you, like, so this you just need to come to that, if you just quickly come to our ordering microservice, and that is where our dispatcher, which is their Outbox message dispatcher, this is where the background service which is written there, and that is what it is checking for, that pending messages, right, for the processed on. And if it is null, so this is going to list you all the pending messages. and based on that, it is what it is doing is it's processing that, and marking this, okay, this is processed on this particular time, and this is what it is publishing, that order created event. So this is, you see that how the flow is going through, right? And that is where the message broker and SAGA pattern comes into play. So now just to explain you further, right, so what we were discussing here into that particular flow, like once that polling is done, right, so this publish order created event is done, which is put together inside order created queue, and then the payment API comes into play, which it will consume this particular message, and then order created event is basically, it's going to simulate that payment, and upon success, whether it's a payment completed or payment failed, it's going to write to into that particular queue, which is then consumed by ordering API, of course, and then it is going to mark that status for that particular order, whether it's failed or passed, and whether it's, in this case, is paid, right? So this is how the flow is going to work, and accordingly your DB is going to be updated, and client is going to be notified accordingly. In this case, it's going to be Angular, which is going to be released in phase 2 itself. So this is the flow which you will be building right from the scratch, and this is what I wanted to tell you guys. Like, this is going to be really fun movement here, because you are going to learn many things, and all deep things which is going to come into play into this particular course. So I would just say, get on board, buckle up, and let's get started with me. Thanks for joining me.